Hi everybody, today is February 22nd, 2014. Ukraine Parliament removes Yanukovych, who flees Kiev in coup. They have an image here. Ukrainian opposition leader Yulia Tymoshenko reacts after she is freed in Kharkiv. This is February 22nd, 2014, it says. Ukraine's parliament voted on Saturday to remove President Yanukovych, who abandoned his Kiev office to protesters and denounced what he described as a coup after a week of fighting in the streets of the capital. Parliament also freed his arch-nemesis, former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko, who walked free from the hospital where she had been jailed, completing a radical transformation in the former Soviet Republic of 46 million people. The apparent toppling of the pro-Russian leader after bloodshed in Kiev that saw 77 people killed and the center of the capital transformed into an inferno looks likely to pull Ukraine away from Moscow's orbit and closer to Europe. It is also a stark reversal for Russian President Vladimir Putin's dream of recreating as much as possible of the Soviet Union in the new Eurasian Union, in which Moscow had counted on Yanukovych to deliver Ukraine as a central member. I wonder what the backlash is going to be with the Russian government. Members of the Ukrainian parliament, which decisively abandoned Yanukovych after his week's bloodshed, stood applaud and sang the national anthem after it declared the president constitutionally unable to carry out his duties and set an early election for May 25th. This is a political knockout. Opposition leader and retired world boxing champion Vitaly Klitschko told reporters. Moments later, opposition leader Tymoshenko, 53, waved to supporters from a car as she was driving out of the hospital in the northeastern city of Kharkiv, where she had been treated for a bad back while serving a 7-year sentence since 2011. In a television interview, which the station said was also conducted in Kharkiv, Yanukovych said he would not resign or leave the country and called decisions by parliament illegal. The events witnessed by our country and the whole world are an example of a coup d'etat, he said, comparing it to the rise of the Nazi power in Germany in the 1930s. He said he had also come under fire. My car was shot at. I was not afraid. I feel sorry for my country, he told UBR television. Ukraine's parliament speaker said Yanukovych had been prevented from boarding a plane to Russia and was now in the Donetsk region, Interfax news agency reported. Despite his defiance, the dismantling of his authority seemed all but complete, with his cabinet promising a transition to a new government, the police declaring themselves behind the protesters, and his arch-rival Tymoshenko going free. At the president's headquarters, Ostap Krivik, who described himself as a protest commander, said some protesters had entered the offices but were not looting. We will guard the building until the next president comes, he told Reuters. Yanukovych will never be back. The grounds of Yanukovych's residence outside Kiev were being guarded by self-defense militia of protesters. Responsible transfer of power. The Cabinet of Ministers and Ministry of Finance are working normally, the Cabinet said in a statement. The current government will provide a fully responsible transfer of power under the Constitution and legislation. Ukrainian military and police leaders said they would not get involved in any internal conflict. The Interior Ministry, responsible for the police, said it served exclusively the Ukrainian people and fully shares their strong desire for speedy change. The origins of the Interior Ministry have crossed to the side of the protesters, the side of the people. New Interior Ministry Arsen Avakov told Ukraine's Channel 5 TV. Yanukovych, who enraged much of the population by turning away from the European Union to cultivate stronger relations with Russia 3 months ago, made sweeping concessions in the deal brokered by European diplomats on Friday, after days of street battles that saw police snipers gun down protesters. But the deal, which called for early elections by the end of the year, was not enough to satisfy pro-Europe demonstrators on Independence Square, known as the Maidan or Euromaidan, who wanted Yanukovych out immediately in the wake of the bloodletting. On Saturday, the Speaker of Parliament, a Yanukovych loyalist, resigned and Parliament elected Oleksandr Turchinov, a close ally of Tymoshenko, as his replacement. Today he left the capital, Klitschko said of Yanukovych at an emergency session of Parliament. Millions of Ukrainians see only one choice: early presidential and parliamentary elections. Two protesters in helmets stood at the entrance of the president's Kiev office. Asked where the state security guards were, one said, "I'm the guard now." I'll give you a link. They have quite a few images here, 10 altogether. Here is an image of the newly elected Ukrainian interior minister. Holds a loudspeaker as he addresses anti-government protesters outside the Ukrainian parliament building in Kiev, February 22nd, 2014. Alright, bookmark my site. I'll keep you up to date. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.